Welcome back. We're the Bourbon Junkies. That's Dan. I'm Sean. And then we got a special guest that hopefully everyone here knows. This is Kristopher Hart. And I have his business card right here.
Yeah.
I was literally looking and I was like, dude, I haven't seen a famous person on a podcast with you in a minute. Then I looked, I'm like, it's been 3 months. That's
Yeah. So I stopped. So we with as much as I'm flying out every week, we switched to a seasonal format.
Okay.
So we are, the only exception to that was Bryan Cranston reached out, and I was like, I will make that happen.
I'll make that happen.
No to Bryan Cranston. He also seems like the coolest dude. So.
Oh, he was the
America's
greatest
dad.
guy. He's what?
He's America's dad.
Oh, he's
Malcolm in the
Don't
Middle.
say that. The last guy named America's Dad,
Oh,
Bill Cosby, didn't turn out okay.
I can't.
Daddy. That's what he was. That was crazy.
Oh, sorry about that one.
No, I looked it up and I was like, dude, it's been 3 fucking months. And then the one before that was way far back.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
was like, okay, so the Bryan Cranston thing makes perfect sense.
We took a break, and since then we actually, because one of the things that little secret for those who have a podcast that want to try to get guests on, if they're on a book tour, your chances of them saying yes have gone
Oh,
significantly.
because they want the promo.
Really?
The only
Yeah.
reason I got Matthew McConaughey was his book Green Lights.
Seriously?
That's 100%. Well, that and the fact that we had whiskey, because everyone was reaching out to him for whiskey
Sure,
stuff.
Yeah.
Melissa McCarthy reached out. Not Melissa McCarthy. Yeah. It's the big girl, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, that's a
the really
talented,
funny
that's a
chick.
talented actress. Yeah.
Bridesmaids. You guys seen that?
God.
And then there's someone else that's Dwight Schrute, Rainn Wilson.
Rainn Wilson.
Rainn.
You ever
Yeah.
been like so famous
I
you
love
don't
Rainn.
know Rainn Wilson's name? God,
No, I know Rainn
the
Wilson's
life
name.
you live.
Yeah.
No.
I love Rainn.
He's on a book
so
tour,
much.
and I texted Brandon. I was like, now would be the time to ask.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Because that'd be so cool.
So you just get in and like knock a season out in a short amount of time, or what?
Well, we have not decided how we're going to proceed. Like the way we used to do it is we would do it weekly, and sometimes we would backlog some stuff.
Yeah.
But you guys put out more content. I mean, it's Bourbon Night, like all the real podcasts. You guys put out much more content. Really, I was just trying to find time to fit in an hour conversation just so I could brag about meeting someone famous.
He says that as we're actively cutting back on content.
Yeah. The one thing I told Sean, I go, what I want so bad to do when you get here, more than anything, and we didn't do it, it was not executed. All I wanted to do was pour a fucking open, half-empty bottle.
Oh, bro.
He wanted to give you a
And
neck
pour
pour.
a brand new bottle?
I thought about it on the way here. I'm
Yeah.
not kidding. I swear to God, I thought these bitches, after all this time, are probably plotting to prove something.
He looked at me and goes, "We don't have anything." I go, "We got picks
We
over there,
have
buddy."
our own picks, which are single barrels, and I have an open one. There's a seal. Well, then I thought to myself, if I hand you 2 glasses and say to you,
You'll know.
hey, man, just tell me what you think about these, you're going to be like, fuck you.
Yep.
I already know. I already know what you're doing,
Oh, yeah.
which ruins the surprise, right?
Yeah, so Wade tried that once,
Oh,
where he goes, here's 3 samples. Tell me which one is better.
Sure.
And they were all 3 the same pour.
Yeah.
And he was just trying to, because here's the thing I've noticed is you can get in your head when you're doing it.
100%.
1,000%.
And I have gotten in the head. You know what will immediately throw me for a loop is when someone's like, tell me what type of spirit this is. Because then I'm like, oh, is this rye? Is it cognac? Is
Sure.
it like you start thinking broadly?
Right.
Oh,
Obviously, you can tell rum, and obviously you can tell certain
Sometimes.
things.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can't tell bourbon and rye apart.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Constantly. I
Def-
can't do
yeah,
that.
I was gonna say like my favorite thing at the end of like pour guesses, like as it winding down, the amount of times I've caught Dan smell it, and go, "Is that a rye?"
Dude, and it's not.
every first
And it's
one, he
not.
just like,
And
is
it
that a rye?
never is, actually. Dude, they're all, listen, the recipes are very similar.
Sure.
Right? And then yeast strains get carried over to different recipes. It's the same fucking yeast.
Well, and a lot of bourbon has rye in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not really. I mean, the mash bill, they're very similar.
Yeah.
It's really just about a weighted average. I'm trying to think of an example.
Well, think of MGP high rye. So you got 36% rye, and then take a Kentucky rye, 51%.
Yeah.
Those aren't
And
that
they
far
both have
off.
corn,
They're not
barley,
far
and
off.
rye.
Yeah.
Like, it just...
There's only a legal difference, not necessarily a massive palate difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you 100%. I fully expected you to pull some sort of shenanigans.
Couldn't do it because I was like, the problem is
Because
you're
you
just
know you'd be
gonna
wrong.
know it. Like, I don't have a way to make it non-obvious. You know what I mean? I'd almost have to like put it in a different bottle and pour it for you in front of you,
Yeah.
and then like be like, "What do you think about these?" But it was like a whole thing. I'm like, I do wish that I could.
You
catch
did
you
pour
on
me
it.
this. Is this a bait and switch? Is this real?
Speaking of America's Dad,
Yeah. Go to sleep.
no, that for real is just 2.5-year-old That's our high rye distillate.
It's very good.
I
And
think
he
at
was
2.5
paid to say
years
that.
old, I think
You know what you should do?
I'm very happy with it at 2.5 for sure.
Yeah.
You guys have given me, they're your barrels though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you guys have given me a little credit at times for pushing you.
You have helped a lot.
A lot.
I appreciate it. I have an idea.
And this is where we cut Chris out of the equation.
So the one of the things so we pitched this idea to American Whiskey Magazine, and I think a newspaper in Kentucky ended up doing a version of this article, and actually interviewed Kenny and them. But when we went looking for additional barrels of rye for Prideful Goat,
Yeah.
the prices had skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And people will say that it's the market and it's the Facebook groups, blah, blah, blah. No. What has become more prolific, even more than Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, is the amount of investment groups buying barrels.
Yeah.
They buy them at new fill prices, $800, $900 a barrel to fill. They sell it 2 years later, 3 years later for $3,000.
Oh yeah.
So even if it costs you $1,000 to fill the barrel,
It didn't
in
matter.
3 years, you've tripled your money, even if some of those barrels were empty.
Those finance bros that got all of that, like we'll call it 4 years ago or whatever, when it was like market slowed down a little bit, there was nothing that could like triple your money with almost a guarantee.
More than whiskey.
Fat. Like it was a damn near guarantee that, like you're saying, they're going to buy them at new fill prices. They're going to, sit on a couple $1 million in stock. Forget about it. It's a rounding error for some of those companies. And then in 4 or 5 years, have all this stuff that's 3 to 4x what they paid for it. And it was guaranteed.
There's a company in Houston that has the company's only on paper. They're not operating out of anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's only on paper. They have 10,000 barrels, and they are part of the supplying company to.
Oh.
I don't know that that's
Oh.
public knowledge, so maybe just.
So cut that.
Yeah, well, you don't have to cut it. I don't give a shit. I didn't sign an NDA. Their entire business model is on flipping barrels.
Right.
And if
Instead
you
of bottles.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
if you guys need to liquidate some cash, you could be selling those barrels you bought 2 years ago.
So here's the thing. It's interesting because what you're saying. So because you're not the first person to say it. Somebody else that we actually work with said to us one time.
You really trying to take this from me right now?
No.
I need this credit.
No.
You're trying to take
I
They
live
have-
vicariously through you guys.
They had a similar thought process with something you said earlier, not right now. Something you said earlier was like, you guys must be doing like great financially. Like you guys must be making a bunch of money. Somebody else said that to us, and it was like, well, so what we've done is spent a lot of money
On the business itself.
investing into a secondary business, in theory, like a long-term project. Instead
Yeah,
of
people
a-
see
How
like
long
dollars
is
and
YouTube
cents. It's very
last,
easy to
right?
go look at the Patreon and being like, wow, these guys are making that much. Like they must be rolling it in. And it was like, but if you're not in the community and you're not following along, you don't know that we're starting a distillery.
Well, and I put it like
That's a lot of money.
We're vlogging like starting the distillery experience, whatever the hell, like this whole shit show that it is, right? And it's a nightmare. And like in one of the videos, it was like, listen, just on barrels last year, we put it in a video. Just in barrels last year, we spent $204,000 in cash, like in literal free flow cash, not debt, right? Like in
It's
money.
like
we
4
had.
Weller 12s. I mean, it's
Right,
not,
exactly,
give or take.
You got
But
it.
it was one of those things where it was like, but like where the money goes is into barrels. But the cool thing, and we just obviously recently bought a building and DSP'd it, but that was like the first risk, right? Because that's overhead now. Those barrels are not overhead. Those barrels were the safest investment we could make with $200,000.
Oh, yeah.
And from a perspective of, damn, shit hit the fan, we can't afford X, whatever it is. The brokers want barrels of whiskey, and current pricing on those barrels is insane, like you said. So it is one of those things. The intention is not to flip those barrels because we want those for our product.
Sure. I get that.
But that being said, shit hits the fan. That's a very safe move.
Yep.
Right,
Dan
correct.
drops a couple racial slurs and we're canceled.
Yeah,
I
not
know.
the one.
Yeah.
We gotta.
I'm not
I do the
the one-
editing. It's fine.
I'm
I'll
not
cut
the
it
one worried
out.
about
I'll leave it in if you do it.
Just for the record, which ones would you say?
I would probably.
Oh,
I don't.
cut, cut,
We're
cut, cut,
called-
cut.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that. Just like I'm just filling the word. Yeah, that was a really great one. You just cut it to like if you actually said it and I'm
Just cut
reacting.
to us laughing. Yeah.
As literally the greatest segue of all time.
They're
you
assets.
can make a lot of money on whiskey right now. And you can make a lot of money on selling barrels and brands, some would say.
Brands mostly.
A brand. Yeah.
So what's interesting really quick for everybody that watches or listens,
You say
you
segue this.
are hyper involved / owner / whatever word you'd like to use of Prideful Goat
Owner.
whiskey. Prideful Goat, we've done a pick with you, which we would
Yep.
like to do another pick
Yep.
this
Shout
year,
out to
'cause-
Ryan over at, in fact, Rando, my business partner. He's doing one through his podcast, Bourbon Real Talk, and he's doing it. Ryan over at Justin's House of Bourbon and Bourbon Outfitters.
Yes.
They're absolutely fantastic. But yes, continue.
Ryan's our guy.
Yep.
But Prideful Goat, like initially, so you sent us a sample bottle of the initial release, the 15-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were like, this is hush hush, like shut the fuck up. Right?
Yeah.
And
I don't remember saying it that way, but sure.
Yeah, you said it kindly.
I paraphrased for you.
Yeah.
You were like, hey man, just don't post this on the internet type thing. Yeah. We drank that, and then you put the label on it and launched it, and it was like, holy shit, dude, it's so good. And then you've moved to this.
Not Beam Liquid, hashtag. Wait, is that how hashtags work?
Yes,
yeah.
it is. Dude, everybody that wants to argue that all of the 15 was this thing, because there was a lot of 15 Beam too, which is why the confusion happened.
Sure.
And we know people in Colorado with a ton of those 15 totes that are Beam, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it all was. And I'm like, buddy, I know the guy who bought them who's saying it's not, like, and they know where they bought it from. But you guys switched to the obviously like the 6-year rye.
Yep.
Which is literally competes with Sagamore in the best value rye on the market at cask strength.
Sure.
And then you now have launched a bourbon from
6-year bourbon, yeah.
Prideful Goat. And then there's other brands like some would say Penelope, who sourced from are you guys publicly sourced from MGP?
Yeah, we've never hidden it.
Okay, so we don't have to cut that.
I like how Dan's just like, hey, on the fly, I'm gonna make a problem for Sean to edit.
This is great.
You're mid-sentence, and it was like, you know what?
I might have to tell Sean to cut that out.
No, I think MGP realizes that their current moneymaker has not been in their own products. It's been in selling source liquid.
That's what we've talked
about. And if they restrict where people can say they get it from, it may hinder sales.
Yes.
They have taken the hands-off approach and have never once even mentioned it.
Yeah.
So I mean, absolutely. Yeah. We the 6-year bourbon, 6-year rye are from MGP in Indiana, and we say it on the back, all too familiar Indiana distiller. We didn't flat out say MGP. Sure. I don't know that we
Everybody knows.
Most people know. Distilled in Indiana. You got to have like a 98% chance.
Starlight's not wholesaling yet. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's Starlight or MGP. Like, those are your options at this point.
And is Starlight selling 6-year stuff?
They have.
They will under their own label.
They have their own stuff that is that age, but.
Well, anyway, so yeah.
You guys are doing a great job.
But not as good as some would say Penelope.
Dude, I don't know if anybody in theory on paper right now is doing as well as Penelope.
To get to it, what we want to talk to, we had Chris here. Penelope, it just came out 2 days ago that they sold
a couple days ago.
105 million. Mm-hmm.
I thought it was 101.
105. Yeah, put some respect on
105, and then another contingency
shoot for another 110 in 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's some big boy money right there.
So I mean, there's
big boy money. Some would say.
This is what drives me nuts about the Facebook bourbon world. We do a diminutive or a dismissive approach to news.
Yeah.
And we oversimplify things and overstate or understate the obvious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And basically everybody was saying, even Chuck Cowdery, who, all respect in the world.
With all due respect, who's that?
Really?
Yeah.
do you not know who Chuck Cowdery is?
Not off the
Dan.
top of my head.
How do you not know
Yeah,
Chuck?
Sean doesn't either.
Sorry.
Chucky,
All right.
he's my boy.
Charles, Chuck Meister.
The doll, dude. With
Yeah,
the
come
nugget.
on, dude.
Before Fred Minnick.
Oh,
What is
okay.
he? What
Great
he's
ascot.
media.
Yeah.
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 So before Fred Minnick, there was a guy named Chuck Cowdery. He still exists, and he's one of the only ones that was in the Bourbon Hall of Fame. He is in the Bourbon Hall of Fame.
Okay.
He is the
For
most
media?
he's
That's
the
wild.
one of the most respected
Okay.
bourbon writers of all time. In fact, he did an article on Tito's about that bullshit long before anyone else, and it's got like 80,000 clicks. It's all articles, all blogs,
Sure.
right? So Chuck Cowdery made the dismissive comment of, so MGP bought their own liquid?
Mm-hmm.
That is such a nonsense, insane thing to write because it's also not true.
Right.
And I made my own post on the Houston Bourbon Society, and I basically said, look, historically, MGP has not been able to sell their own brands to the same level of success as other people.
Right.
Simple fact.
That's very well known.
Simple
That's
fact.
literally what we talked about this morning. Yeah.
Super documented. And Penelope took their liquid, built a brand, did it in under 5 years, give or take, and sold the brand for $105 million.
Yep.
Now, if you've already got your product in a bunch of states, you've already got distribution, which is the hardest part, you've got a successful brand, and you're doing massive volume, they will, let's just say they're making normal margins of 35% on their products. By MGP buying it and removing the middleman under their own infrastructure, they could be making 60% margin, right? Like the insane potential that they have in taking that brand. But the downside of that is when that typically happens within a few years, the whole market flops.
Sure.
Because you become, so for instance, like in the craft beer world, Anheuser-Busch was buying up all these craft breweries years ago, and that has all pretty much died off.
Sure.
That's the direction we're heading. If all the big guys are buying up the brands that are successful at it, that's eventually going to pop.
Sure.
Yeah.
The next bubble.
There's a tipping point where they're not buying a market share that company has.
There's also a difference with beer and whiskey, though. Like, and the difference is like the time that is absolutely necessary, right? And now we'll be flooded at some point in the near future with too many barrels of whiskey. But we're in Michigan. Like the mecca of like craft beer is like in a few cities in this state, right? Yeah. There's Founders and Bell's, and there's all these like crazy breweries here. Hop Slam is like huge in Michigan. So is KBS. So is all these brands. The problem with beer is like, man, Hop Slam's like selling out, and I'm waiting in line to get a 6-pack of Hop Slam that releases once a year. Well, next year we'll just brew more. Yeah. Like it's as simple as that, right?
Yeah, they get to remove the.
In whiskey, it's like, well, we need more.
Their futures
10, which means we need 10 years to make that.
But guess who has that?
Who's that?
MGP.
Yeah,
to an extent.
They've got, I mean, millions of barrels.
Sure,
right.
But the thing with MGP is. And I agree I agree wholeheartedly on the oversimplification. MGP bought a brand. It would have been the exact same thing if MGP bought Smoke Wagon. MGP's buying somebody selling their product. The cool thing I think about Penelope is the reason in my brain that it worked. Mike and Danny are great dudes, and if you meet them, they go to a lot of events, and if you meet them, you love them.
They come to the whiskey social every year. Michael is great.
To them, right?
MGP bought a successful team of people, not just their own whiskey bag.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just the brand. It's a little bit more complicated than that. Yeah. They have a steady flow of pull through, a team in place, people that have made it work. They're buying up their operation, and I would think if they were smart enough, they're not going to touch it. Leave it alone and let it keep operating.
I do believe that's what's happening.
Is they're not touching
they're getting to stay in the positions. The full team is on with them. It's going to be them just doing their exact same thing with better
margins. Yeah. That's it. Better access, steady supply.
Because now they're in MGP, so now they have access to barrels that they didn't have before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. As long as they don't.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. As long as they don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Just leave it in place.
But this is the best part. So talking to Mike on the phone.
Where's the 4-gate? I want to try one.
Right here. There's a Penelope Rio right there, which is fucking wild. Don't
Rio?
give it to Sean. But
I don't drink sellouts. I'm just kidding. I'll try the Rio first.
Why can I not have that?
You just because you're gonna shit on it. I can't even, here smell.
What if I shit on it? It looks goody.
I just know Sean better than you. Then I know you. I'm saying
that was really rude and hurtful.
Go ahead and give it back.
Is that Amburana?
But it's honey finished.
Amburana.
I'll tell you right, I don't like the nose.
It's Amburana.
You like Amburana finished stuff?
Yeah. I mean, they taste like the rums I've had from Plantation tasted like.
Wait, Amburana rum?
Yeah. So what they did is they took.
That might be the move, honestly.
It's fantastic. It tastes exactly like a Almond Joy.
The coconut.
I'm in.
Oh my gosh. You take the rum that's got a little dosage in it, which is controversial. You finish it in the Amburana. So they're the ones that did Amburana first before it became in the whiskey realm. And I've not actually had an Amburana whiskey finished one.
Trying to get my first mosquito bite of the year. Come here, you little. Gone.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I'm going to take away from this is I got to pee on the property, which is nice.
Hell yeah, dude.
Mosquitoes
You're part
everywhere.
of it.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm here permanently.
Dan lives in a swamp. He's like Shrek.
We bought this place. This was my mother-in-law's. We bought it because it's back in the woods and I don't want neighbors. And like, I fucking love not seeing people. It's my favorite thing. And so being back here, you just like pee wherever you want.
Dan walks around naked in the woods.
Be naked here outside. And it's literally like you live in the woods, but you don't.
I got news for you, bud. I didn't just pee.
I love that. And
Perfect.
I love that.
There's a trench out there. You could have shit in
there was
that.
a recommendation made. It was a whole thing. No,
Yeah, this is really good. I like it.
You don't, do you?
No, I do.
Do you really?
I would be honest. I like it's a dessert.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a dessert.
I hate Amburana.
It doesn't taste like whiskey.
Dad, I'm with you. But here's a cool. Okay, so Rio, I don't actually think is even out. We got this as a gift, just randomly
Piece
from
of shit.
Mike. But honestly, so what's wild is this came in, and I was like, oh, Sean hates all Amburana. Like period. If it says then Sean's like, I'm fucking out. He didn't have to finish the sentence, right?
Fair.
And so I drank it. I'm like, we just were at Nulu and had a shit ton of Amburana, like so much while we were there. We had like 8 barrels or something to try. Sean didn't like a single one just because he doesn't like the profile of Amburana. but it's aggressive as hell as a wood, seemingly. Like it takes over.
So what you're highlighting is also part of the dismissive frustration.
Mm-hmm.
I've always hated the stance, it's the MGP flavor of the week. No. You got to understand, MGP didn't put that in Ambrana cask.
No, Penelope did.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Like
they're following the market.
We know that the biggest influence on all liquid is not where it's made, it's the wood it's in.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And MGP, I would...
Is there an argument to be made?
I would... No, there's definitely not. You think not if you're not retarded. I'm sorry. Can I say that word?
Yeah, I mean, I've dropped a couple hard R's.
Yeah, Sean drops hard R's.
So wait,
I don't think that's what hard R means.
Yeast? no, that's the white version of it. That is the white version of it. Because
that's the weirdest argument of all. There's the debate. Is what does hard R mean?
That's
fair.
That hard R is completely off limits. Okay, so like that doesn't register. Yeah. Not even there. That's nowhere. That was Dan talking to his favorite.
I feel stressed.
Okay, so you're saying like it's not even close between yeast strain and wood.
Wood. If you listen,
you can have the best distillate in the world. You put it in shitty wood, you're getting shitty whiskey.
I'm gonna say that I think it's pretty well established, and I'm choosing my words carefully, that wood has more influence on the liquid than any other aspect of the process.
We need Christian in here.
Huh?
We need Christian in here from
or
Starlight.
Blake.
Yeah,
because I know yeast does have an impact. Obviously, we've all had Four Roses. Mash bill has an impact. We all understand that. I'm all in agreement with that. But I believe that I've heard between 70 and 90% of all the color and flavor comes from the wood.
Color for sure, obviously. 100% of the color is from the wood.
Man, 70% in flavor from the wood. In my mind, like honestly, that seems high.
If you put it on Verona, though, you're like 100% of the flavor came from
wood.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Finishes, right? You get sherry, and this is something like we put, and I don't think we've discussed this yet, but we've put a bunch of Prideful Goat Rye in our Gregarious Grump rum barrels from Foursquare in Belize. Yeah. So we already know Foursquare has a very bourbon.
Foursquare has the best rum too.
It's the bourbon lovers rum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Belize is as well. Belize does a lot of columns distilled stuff, and it is just tremendous.
The Foursquare rum finished Bardstown that we just got, it's fucking phenomenal,
dude.
Yeah,
and it's still good.
And we are we're putting. It should be ready this fall, but we've basically been on track to do one release a year.
Okay. Like one new release.
No, for Prideful Goat.
Oh, okay.
No, so Prideful Goat, we did the 15-year. Then the next year, we did the Baby Goat, the 6-year rye. Then last fall, we did the 6-year bourbon, and now we're planning a 6-year finished rye.
Okay, nice.
In rum barrels.
Shit, okay.
So, and you can make the argument that I'm talking the wood and what was in the wood before are two different things. But Ambrana is a perfect example that it is the wood that makes it taste like that.
Yeah.
So I would no matter what, I would argue that it's established that at least the majority of the flavor comes from the wood. Anything over 51%.
I would argue that too. I think 70% seems high. I give it a hard 50.
I think would lend to your argument is that like each...
Me being right?
I don't think that lend.
No, it'd be fun to see look at Starlight. That's a place that uses like 5 different cooperages and how wild. We've always talked about how wild their flavor profiles are between mash bills.
You're correct.
I wasn't even switching to cooperages though. Think about single barrel programs.
Yeah.
When you go to a barrel picks, you're like, no, those are all very different. Mm-hmm. Come to find out, the only difference was actually the barrel, and they were the same cooperage.
Yeah, and you could have brother barrels or whatever you want to call it.
Another example is MGP. MGP used to use a couple of cooperages.
Sure.
And over the last couple of years, when we go shopping through what's available, they've added a new column that tells you where the cooperage is, and now there's more than a dozen of them.
Holy shit, really?
And can we not argue that MGP has gotten slightly worse over the last few years?
Some of it, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we're no longer in the heyday of Boone County 14-year barrels.
The Bloms and the Boons and the Pingree.
Dude, that heyday was
OKI.
OKI, yeah.
Damn, those were monster whiskeys.
Yeah, and those were like from the same 3 cooperages.
Okay.
But even Gulf Coast got cut off by a couple of cooperages because they're having trouble keeping up with the demand.
Really?
So literally, as far as I know, they have not made bourbon in over a year. It's been single malt using their used barrels because they can't get any barrels. We went to Virginia,
West Virginia, and then Bardstown's buying all their shit now.
Yep. And I'll be honest with you, the samples we got were dog shit. And instead of seasoning it, they were infrareding, toasting them
with infrared though.
Yeah. And it literally tasted like seawater. Like it was almost fishy. And I was like, please don't do this. I'd rather you make single malt for the foreseeable future
Sure.
than put bourbon in here, and 5 years from now it's
And
a
it'd
waste
be
of money.
ruined.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
we got way off topic.
Oh, yeah,
and
where
no one
were
knows
we?
what just
So-
happened.
Okay,
So
here's the thing. Okay, let's round back to Penelope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that because we didn't discuss it for very long. And
we did not.
it's interesting. You're saying that they bought more than the brand. I'm kind of wrapping a lot of stuff up in the word brand, right?
Sure.
When somebody goes to a store and sees like the large P and Penelope and the blue and the black and now the grays, the greens,
Yeah.
whatever.
Reds.
You know what that's called?
Recognizability, brand identity.
The billboard effect. Whenever
Yeah.
you have a shelf and you see 5 SKUs, 8 SKUs, you know, a lot of in the old days, the version of that was just bullet bourbon, bullet rye,
Right.
Mhm.
and now you want the bullet distiller select and
Sure.
all the different versions, so
Yeah.
that you create a billboard effect on the shelf,
Sure.
and then people, of course, are likely to grab something off there.
Sure.
Penelope hit it like a freaking champ. Everything they did was perfect.
Yeah.
In fact, at the Whiskey Social, Penelope was the #1 selling brand for the night.
Really?
Is it
Yeah.
really?
The first year that they joined us was probably 3 years ago, and Michael Palladini called and said after the event, he goes, "We sold 10 cases that night," and he goes, "This is the greatest event we've ever been to." Little flex, and
Yeah, take it.
And he goes, "We'll be back every year," and I'm
Sure.
like, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
And I never quite got a chance to connect with him the way that you guys did.
Yeah.
He's the best dude. So is Danny.
We've never
Yeah,
really done
Soul
anything with the
Year's
brand
kinda
other than the event, and I've always been a fan. Penelope
We
does good.
keep doing picks for them because
What do you
Here's-
need, buddy?
Just
You
trying
want
to raise it up a little
Is
bit.
it
Yeah.
just- Here.
I think it's slowly sinking.
she's a weak gal. Sean, look at Sean's.
There we go.
Sean's is on his dick. Now.
Yeah,
That's
this,
crazy.
this is mine, and it's
Sean
definitely
has
blown the
reamed
F out.
fuck out of that arm.
The blue are. I had to stop using them because I think we talked. Did we talk about this?
I don't know.
You know what? It was Chin.
Are you serious?
Chin said stop using the blue because they do that.
Yeah,
wear
they
it.
eventually just get tired.
and they're like
The problem
100
is they're
something
like
bucks.
one of the prettiest ones.
Oh, they're the
Is
best.
issue.
No, they're the best looking
I
ones.
know.
Yeah.
And I think Rogan's the one that made them what they are.
And now Rogan uses the fucking $800 per arms that are the low pros. I looked them up because I'm like, low
Boy, I
pros
hope
seem
you can
awesome.
afford them.
Yeah, dude, can't imagine.
no,
That's-
we can't.
Seems like he's doing okay.
But he was like, you know what? This means nothing to me. $800,
Yeah.
great. Get
No.
17.
But I think what's so interesting is
That-
Danny's really good at blending for real. Like,
Yeah.
genuinely great at blending.
Super smart guy.
Mike is like super personable, great dude, like actually great, awesome guy. And them heading up the brand and leading the brand, they took it on this journey and this adventure, launched the freaking Architect series, did that light whiskey. They've done enough interesting projects along with a red label that you can buy every day and these
Sure.
toasts
A shelf
you can
product.
buy every day and these volume products. And it's like, dude, listen, there's no way MGP's not stupid. They're not, right? Maybe they're bad at marketing.
They
seem
didn't pay
awful at marketing.
$105 million for
But
a
they're
company that they didn't
intelligent.
think was
I-
going to have an ROI.
I don't think they're stupid, but I've noticed that there are a lot of successful companies that their background has been in manufacturing.
Sure.
They can manufacture, but they have a long track record of utter failure at branding their own
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
And MGP is one of those people.
Yeah, they're not good at marketing.
No, I mean,
Dude,
their
I saw
brands.
8 and Sand. Come to find out that's theirs.
Yeah.
Like nobody even knows 8 and Sand is theirs. You know what I mean?
I
Well-
knew it. Aiden said because Aiden said they were trying to capitalize on the craft market, and it was it light whiskey?
no, it's
No.
bourbon.
Yeah, it's
It
bourbon.
competes with Buffalo Trace.
No,
Yeah, it's
I
a
don't-
90 proof bourbon.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I promise.
How much would it bet?
A lot.
Quite a bit.
A lot, really?
I've got a bottle.
Okay, go get it.
All right.
Where is it? It's in there. You think it's light whiskey?
It's not bourbon. It's something else.
It's American then.
I forget what it is, but it's
Has
not
to be
bourbon.
American whiskey.
Don't look at it. Let's look at it on camera.
Well, Chris likes to be wrong.
Yeah. Wrong?
Oh, yeah.
Blended bourbon whiskey. Wow. This is not the original release.
I bought that 3 years ago at a
And there's that much gone out of it.
Blended bourbon whiskey. There was something that they did that I guarantee was that because it made all the rounds. Aiden Sands a blended. I mean, I'm wrong. What do you mean I like to be wrong? This is the first.
You really
And you
reveled
caught
in
it on camera. And you caught it on camera.
You know what? I'll send it to your wife. She'll enjoy this.
You've been wrong about the neck pour thing, and then
Oh,
you've
yeah.
also been wrong about this, which is perfect.
I
So,
mean,
But,
you
okay.
and Wade, dude, it's
we
crazy.
don't have another hour.
So we've got Ross and Squibb.
Maybe that's what it was. No,
It's
no.
annoying as hell to me because everything is still MGP.
Yeah.
When you look at it, and they still identify as MGP, even though they switched to Ross and Squibb, they
It's the
have
dumbest
no
name of all time, by the way.
They've got terrible brand identity. So they're taking
They don't have any
Penelope.
marketing. I don't know
They're
if they have
taking
a
someone
marketing
that
team.
is wildly more successful at selling their whiskey, like we said, and just acquiring them
I think it's beautiful.
It's
I love
amazing.
it so much.
It's
Can I
great,
tell you-
and I'm
Yeah.
super happy for him.
Can I tell you what I like a lot about it? I am too.
You know how many lottery tickets you can buy with $105 million?
Probably about 105 million of them if you bought the $1 ones.
Yeah.
So the
Thanks for that breakdown, Daniel.
What I find, are you looking up the light whiskey?
Oh
MGP?
my gosh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I refuse.
He's like, I have to be right.
No.
somehow.
I don't have to be right. I'm just
Okay.
trying to remember.
I just don't want to be
just have
wrong.
not be stupid.
God, you guys are. There's not a lot of ego here. I'm really just
Kinda
trying to
feels like it,
remember
though.
exactly what
Sure.
it was. Blended bourbon whiskey. All right. I'm telling you, there was
I think
articles written about it.
I wonder if you're just thinking about one of the brands you helped start.
Yeah.
Tiger Thick, Japanese whiskey. You
I didn't
forgot?
help start that. I just-
Bodega Cat, they got light whiskey in there?
No. It's MGP Rye 95.5. You guys are bad people. Keep going.
I mean, we're not going to argue
Oh,
that
we got
fact.
all day for you to look this up and not find it.
Yeah. It's going to be an article that
I
he
love
wrote.
that he hasn't
It'd
found
be,
shit
it'd be
yet.
like 10 Christopher.
Going through.
I'm
I'm going through. That's the title of the episode.
on whiskey need. He's like 8 and saying
Look
light
at-
whiskey. That's great.
Look at this guy posted. That is light whiskey.
I'm wrong. blended bourbon whiskey. Yeah, all the way back to
You thought
2000.
it was light, huh?
No,
There
there,
had to be a reason
there
you
was
thought
an
that.
art. Yes, that's why. Not so I could be right, because I remember either Fred Minnick or Wade or Chuck. Someone wrote an article about
Are we putting those 3 people in the same category right now? That's crazy.
in the level of stubborn-headedness on certain topics.
That
okay.
wasn't the category I was using.
Yeah?
I was
What-
using respectability.
Yeah.
Oh,
So there was.
I like Fred.
I like Fred too. No, but there was a specific article about one of these dumb names, like Squibb and Ross and
Yeah,
Squibb,
yeah.
or Eight and Sand. There was some article that, or some release that MGP was releasing, and I want to say it was light whiskey, because you remember just a couple years ago, the light whiskey made a resurgence because of the high age statements.
Yeah.
yes.
So you saw
And it was cheap as
a
hell.
Bull Run
Yeah.
and our guy Gene, the Thief.
Obtainium.
Obtainium.
The Carters got light whiskeys.
There was a bunch of them, and I remember MGP was releasing their own brand, and it was like
It wasn't bourbon.
It wasn't bourbon,
Interesting.
and of course, it didn't do well.
Is there any light mixed into Remus stuff?
No.
No? Is that all bourbon?
Yeah, that
Okay.
is most definitely bourbon. The problem with MGP has always been, and it was very much found out during the Boone County, the Blom, the Pingree days, that they had some of the best whiskey on market, period.
Shout out to Greg
That's
Metz.
ultra aged MGP right there. And that's old MGP. That is some of the best whiskey you could have ever bought. It was BTAC level of whiskey.
ultra aged, but also in a glass that had Amberana in it,
Oh,
so it's
dude.
got this slight hint of coconuts.
That's interesting.
Oh, God. Umbrana just needs to go away.
No,
I'm,
this one
do you
I
like-
love.
I
Rito,
hate
love.
it.
Do you like Madeira or sherry or ports? Yeah, I like an after dinner sweet. way to end the
I'm
night.
so down for that. Umbrana, though, it just tastes like a candle. I can't get over it.
You don't like candles?
No, I don't eat them.
He's afraid of his own sexuality.
That's what it feels like. But I look at
What?
those shorts and I think, no, he's fine.
No. I got no problem with candles. We own a shit ton. I don't like eating them. That's where I'm at with
I
it.
totally get it. There is a
It's so strong.
like a fake
Crayola.
Artificial
Yeah, like a
flavor.
Crayola.
Crayola.
Yeah. There's a bit of waxiness there.
Mhm.
I'm just getting
I
like
hate it.
suntan lotion.
Suntan lotion's good.
On
And
some
you
of them.
love it.
Some of them are great. Some aren't great. Some are great.
Yeah.
You're eating that, what is it? The banana boat SPF 50. That's you.
Man,
dude.
you remember how great that stuff smelled?
Exactly.
That stuff was
This
delicious
is the
before
problem.
bed.
It did smell great.
It smelled
And
fantastic.
so does Amarana.
Yeah. You're just eating chapstick. Don't worry about it, dog.
I really do think, honestly, I think that I think it's the smartest thing ever for MGP to realize what they're bad at. I think when you remove your ego and pride, you realize you can't do something well.
Oh, that's exactly what they did.
Acceptable,
Yeah.
right?
They said,
So
they
let's
said,
just-
"Oh, we've got money. Let's
Yeah.
just pay for it."
Yeah.
It's
You're
what
already
Google-
selling our whiskey
Google does
well.
this with everything.
What's
YouTube exists by itself.
TikTok trend. Let's get to the good part.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Mhm.
basically what they just said. They
Yes.
said, "Look, we've tried. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
They figured it out. Let's buy it up."
And
Yeah,
I know
now-
this was a lot of money.
Now I think it actually opens a lot of doors for Penelope in the fact that they're selling MGP stuff. They can create more labels and just keep selling MGP stuff under the Penelope envelope, which is MGP. They don't have to make anything under, they don't have to make a new 8 and Sand. They can just do a new release in Penelope stuff and just keep that market and keep moving forward.
Well, but they've kept the team.
Yeah.
This is what's important. Campari, Stoli, Diageo. These people buy companies and then
gut it
ruin it.
And ruin
Top,
From the
top, bottom,
consumer
gut it
standpoint,
on
they
it.
ruin it. Now, from a business standpoint, maybe it's like exceeding standards now. But from High West is a good example with Constellation. Constellation bought High West. They removed Burai's like a limited distillery only. Yippee-ki-yay is gone.
They fucked up.
Now the barrel select program is a shit show.
Only
It's
bourbon.
only bourbons. They're not finished. And it's like, but from a business model, those were their money makers. So this makes sense now. They've just gotten rid of the things that weren't making them as much. The problem is that's shitty for a consumer. So MGP not being Diageo, Campari, and Constellation and Stoli, buying Penelope, this is a beautiful thing for a consumer in theory.
Yeah.
Because they're keeping the team. They keep everybody on. Penelope stays true to itself. And that's what all the consumers want anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that happens or has happened in craft beer for years is people would get mad when they got bought out by the big guys. And in this
It
case,
depends how it goes, I think.
you're taking the reasonable approach, and I agree with you. I'm happy for the Penelope team. I'm sure they had investors that they recouped their money, and I'm sure he could literally retire if he wanted to.
No.
They didn't have
No investors.
They had no investors.
They started as two guys in New Jersey with 2 barrels of MGP in the
Two-year-old
trunk
whiskey.
of a car, driving around self-distributing.
Man, he really won, right?
Dude.
And see, I'm happy for that. I just like in Carbach in Houston, I was happy that they sold out. You're talking about, do you know how fucking impossible it is to start a business on a dream and for that dream to even work?
Right. At all.
Right? At work. And most people become overextended.
Yeah.
They're upside down. It takes a long time just to establish before
Just describing us right now.
Well, I'm describing myself. I'm describing all the different people we've been rooting for. Craft has taken an explosion the last few years, and we're all rooting for the little guy.
Mm-hmm.
When the little guy finally gets a chance to exhale,
Yeah.
I've been holding my breath for 5
Right.
years, you know? I'm happy for Penelope. I hope that they don't screw it up. But that being said, who, if they got bought out, would you be sad about?
Campari.
If Campari got bought out?
No, I'm sorry. I thought you meant who bought.
If they
Penelope.
sold to the wrong person.
Oh.
Yeah. If Penelope sold to Campari, I'd be bummed.
Yeah. Because it goes back to the model that we
Campari's
just talked
fucking
about. It's gut it and make profit.
Yeah.
They're destroying Turkey.
Yeah.
Stoli destroyed Kentucky Owl.
Look at the pricing that's coming out with.
destroys everybody.
Yeah,
Constellation destroying High West. All of these people destroy everything.
So it's not about if any particular person gets bought out, it's how they're bought out.
It's who buys them out.
It's-
You know what I find hyper interesting? We were just at Bardstown recently. Fitzker bought them out, or Pritzker, or whatever they're called, right? The private
Pritzker.
investment group. They've kept everybody on.
Mhm.
They've allowed Bardstown to continue to operate as Bardstown.
It actually gave them working capital to expand and do what Bardstown
Bardstown
wanted
shit.
to do. And they were like, hey, we're just going to financially back you.
It's beautiful.
Do whatever you want.
That.
Like, you
That's
guys
all
are
you want.
successful.
That's what you want.
We're
That's
going to
what you
give
want.
you capital.
From a consumer standpoint and from the business's side, that's what you want. Everybody was so mad when Bardstown had made this sale or whatever I don't know what the correct terminology is, but everybody was so
Sought new
upset
investors.
because people don't like that private investment firm. As long as they don't touch it,
Yeah.
leave it the fuck alone, and you're investing money into it, which is what Bardstown wanted out of the deal.
And this is going to do the same thing for Penelope. That it's an injection of money for their company, along with, like I said, access and reach and being able to do cool things. You're keeping the people that made that brand what it is,
Yeah.
and it allows them to do more things. And it should be great.
Agreed.
Oh my gosh, there's some puppies.
You guys got some opinions on Penelope buyout? What kind of dog is this?
Golden Doodle.
Old.
Golden Doodle.
Golden Doodle.
Can you spell my dog on me? We got a
Not me, bear.
well, we've had a blue heeler mix, and now we just got a white German Shepherd.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's wild.
yeah.
Like an albino?
Well, I don't know that they're called that.
You
They're-
would.
She's just white in color.
You're a ginger. That's crazy. How wild is that?
Just to be
Wow.
clear, I'm not
Rude.
a ginger. My beard's red. My hair's blonde. What's
Hair's
left
a
of it?
little red.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Oh, like
it's
it's
not.
tinted?
It's a little
No,
red.
no. It's just what you're seeing is called an optical illusion.
Sure, dude.
Oh, you got to do the.
Yeah. If I shave my face, you wouldn't say
Okay.
that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You should try that. Let's see.
It's like the cheerleader effect. You know,
if I
you
want to
got
keep my wife, I'm going to keep the beard.
If I grew up beard like that, I'd never shave.
Oh,
it.
That's fair.
It's the only thing my wife finds attractive about me. Love you, honey.
worked out. You said you got 4 kids, so
18 years.
Whew, good for
18
you.
years.
Yeah. You can legally drive a car with your marriage. Almost drink.
My oldest,
In Canada, you can.
my 2 oldest
Can
daughters are. My oldest daughter's 18 and 17, so I have an adult.
That's
child.
wild. Is that terrifying?
It's no, it's gotten easier. The trick is to don't talk to them. Just leave them alone.
They're young adults.
Yeah,
you just got to make sure they're fed and they
Otherwise,
don't
you're
die.
stressed all the time. Just leave her alone.
Holy
If she wants something,
What does she want? No parental guidance.
If she wants something, she can send me a message request on Instagram because we don't follow each other. I'm just kidding. I love
You
you.
can't follow your kids on Instagram. I don't have kids old enough to be on Instagram. I don't think I can follow them on Instagram.
I think
Dude, is it just giving up
It's
over
it's.
and over?
There you go. Try again. There you go. It's all
Okay.
good. It's all
Yeah, you
good.
got a little extra twist on her there.
Oh, I gave her a little extra on
Little
that
extra
one.
kink.
Yeah.
So this is your first long format.
First ever.
First
Yeah.
ever.
Good luck, Sean.
Really hope those
Yeah.
views really come on, guys.
Good luck, Sean.
It is gonna be a nightmare to edit, and
It's actually not that hard.
it's gonna be pretty
There's not a lot to cut
lightly.
out.
There's not.
edited.
Yeah.
It'll be mostly us just
There's like 4
bullshitting.
things.
I've seen you guys on live streams drinking and saying things
Yeah.
that definitely need to be
That
cut.
this is what we
No,
wanted this to be.
disagree
It's
entirely.
pretty much just hanging out.
He's like, you're not wrong if you never admit it.
Yeah.
I know. I just argued
100%.
on Aiden Sand.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, this is kind of what we want to do with Fridays. Just morph it into us bullshitting, drinking whiskey,
Sometimes it'll be
having fun.
topical.
Um,
Penelope
yeah.
just sold, obviously. So.
Yeah.
You want? I don't know if you guys ever want to do this, but I think you guys could dip your toes in the celebrity pool.
I know.
Okay. I don't think we got the same poll.
No. Let me tell you why you're wrong. Let me give you a little tip out there. Ian Somerhalder and Paul Wesley reached out to do another episode because they have a rye coming
I was
out.
gonna say they just dropped a rye.
I'm
They are
so
dropping a rye.
sorry. Who is that?
It's the Vampire Diaries guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you have
Brothers
18-year-old
Bond?
daughters? Because they
No,
know who they
I don't.
they know who they are.
I
They're-
have Sean, and he knows
Yeah.
who they are.
My wife.
So 18-year-old daughters.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
No,
Hey.
they
Sean was really excited about Brothers in Bond or whatever because
Brothers
of this.
Bond.
Yeah.
Brothers Bond. Yeah. So they
Also MGP.
They're correct. Also MGP. They're coming out with a new one now, and they reached out to do the show, but like I said, I'm taking a break,
Sure.
and so I forwarded that email to Randall,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Yeah, we'll do it." And
Oh,
so
that's cool.
Randall, you guys know Randall Sullivan from
Yeah.
Bourbon Real Talk. Yeah, similar thing where he does all the content creation and whatnot, and they said yes, and so and he gave his subscribers. I think he's at 50,000 subscribers. You guys are at 100. I think they'll say yes. Like it's not. I think once you get it down, and all
Yeah.
you do is a Zoom call,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but do it in front of the wall.
I know. Here's the
Well,
problem
yeah.
with it.
No, I figured we'd do it like in front. Like I'm gonna put up a sign, and be like Christopher Hart peed here. We'll do it right outside, and they'll be like, dude, if Chris peed there,
Pete,
we're
I
good.
will-
came here.
I will-
He
so the
blessed
whole
it.
thing.
I will pay.
You said you did more than Pete out there. I didn't
I wasn't
I
gonna-
was thinking shit,
Oh,
man.
damn. Okay. Wow. You and my brain went completely different directions.
What I will pay for the 1x1 square of cement to like
I
put
love that, like a brick.
to put over the land
Yeah.
Yeah.
where I peed
Yeah,
Yeah,
we could
and
put that.
came
Yeah.
and then
And then when I saw the property, I mean, what is this bag? You don't want this.
Don't dig it up.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what?
In
I
fact,
think
if
the
you
bag of
remove it-
concrete would cost less than the 2x4 that I'm gonna need to make the form out of. So you know what? Call it like $5. We're good.
we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Well, I think you guys could definitely do it. And honestly, all you have to do is get one, and then it snowballs.
Sure.
And that's all we did. Like it's not like I think the by saying ESPN at the beginning it helped.
Sure. Yeah. of course.
But it started with Matt Raywalt, Wrestling with Whiskey. He was a WW or what?
He's the guy who won the Bardstown thing the second
Second
time.
year.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got shit on in Matt Madness.
Matt took him to the cleaners.
So Matt has like poor ADHD whiskey has like a Matt Madness competition. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
blind tasting thing.
Yeah.
And he went into it. Matt is like legitimately great at this, right? Like
Yeah.
all of us. if
Of
Matt-
roasting.
No.
Oh,
Matt,
no,
like, blind
tasting.
shit.
Oh yeah.
Porter's like
Man's got a
literally one
palate.
of the best ever. Like
Yeah.
for real. Like
He gave really good ups to Prideful Goat Rye.
Matt did.
Yeah, it was
That means
hilarious.
something.
Matt, like,
The man's got a
legitimately
palate on
has
him.
a-
He put it as his
incredible
Rye of
palate.
the Year last year.
Oh yeah.
And every time we blind against him and he's not distracted, he just wins everything. He
Right.
beats everybody, right? For real. He had what's that? Matt. It was-
Matt Raywalt. Yeah.
Matt. He had the other Matt on, the second Matt.
Yeah.
Buddy, Matt made it one round into this competition and got shit stomped. Like,
Oh,
it was
really?
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a really good guy. He was a not UFC, a WWE
Yep.
wrestler, and he's married to Eddie Guerrero's daughter.
I know
Oh.
so few famous names. It's
Yeah.
wild.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know anything.
Well, in the early 2000s, you had like Mankind and Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Attitude Era.
yeah.
Eddie Guerrero was one. He was
Oh, he's a wrestler. Okay.
he was a wrestler. Yeah, he's a legendary wrestler. He
Okay.
died. Anyway, so we started with Matt, then we got TJ Miller, and then it was like
PG Miller type.
Brendan Schaub, and then
Callan.
it just slowly but
Yeah.
surely built, and then Ian Somerhalder, and then Brian fucking Cranston
And
came
now
in.
you have a
came
shit
in
ton
studio.
of famous friends.
It looks good on paper.
Sure.
It looks good on paper.
Yeah.
On Instagram as you're
Yeah, of course
scrolling.
it
It's,
does.
it's like just a chance to brag.
Yeah,
Like,
of
see,
course.
honey, I have
Look
I
at-
have friends.
Look
Yeah.
at who I know.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
course. No.
But yeah, I think you guys could totally do it, and you have a massive organic following. You guys literally one of the best channels. I don't watch a lot of bourbon media, except the
fair.
Junkies,
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate
and
it.
I mean that.
And he was not paid to say that. I want to just throw that out there.
Well, I slipped him
Yeah.
a $100 bill when he walked
I said
I
in.
got
yeah.
a hug when I walked in from you.
Yeah.
This guy
Ooh.
gave me a handshake.
Listen,
But-
I didn't know that a hug was on the
talked-
table.
So legitimately, like we were doing a lot of barrel picks and stuff, and you were like, the fact that you guys don't have your own brand is not the right move. You guys
Mhm.
need your own brand.
Mhm.
You're losing money every day. You don't have one, and
This is
et
like
cetera, et
2.5
cetera.
years ago.
These are things he actually said, and it was like, well, Sean, I've discussed it, and it's one of these things. So then, down this very long road of you helped with brokers initially, which was super helpful,
Mhm.
and some guidance on some other things, and it was really fucking helpful, man. And I
Yeah.
appreciate the hell out of it for real, because the goal with Virtue is to be a long-term thing and to do it the way that we want to do it. And that's
Sure.
why it's taken longer for us to launch this, but we're trying to do it in a way in which it's a long-term maintainable thing, right?
Sure.
And you were a really big help, and you've helped us a ton with guidance and a lot of things. So we appreciate the hell out of it, buddy.
Well,
Legitimately, you were a keystone of us putting this all together.
I
So
really
take that.
appreciate that. I mean, I think one of the things that we can do in this space is it's not feast or famine. We can encourage
No.
each other.
Rising tide.
I mean, Randall has come so far with his channel. Other people have just exploded. I think it's something we can all encourage, and it's been great. And look, I'll be coming back here probably at least once a quarter. So if this gets more than 5 views, then I'll see you guys in 3
I'd
months.
hope
and
at
we
least
could-
10.
It will.
and we could do it again.
Let's double that. We can get it to
promise more than
20.
5. I can promise that. I have 5 YouTube.
We can con at least 100 people into watching
Yeah.
this, right?
Yeah. I mean, or you could do as well, I'm not going to name names, but we could just buy views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can name some names.
Oh.
We could name some
Crazy,
names. We
yeah.
could just buy some views.
Oh, yeah. So about that.
No, thank you, buddy, for real.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming
Thanks
on.
for coming on and hanging out with us and doing the damn thing.
Yeah, if you guys want any more controversial opinions, just
Yeah.
let me know when they hit.
Yeah, I'll ask you about
Oh.
neck pores. Huge shout out to Penelope
Yep.
and
Yeah.
their huge success. Like
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Danny
guys.
and Mike are literally two fucking awesome human
Salt
beings,
of the
and we
earth
love them to
individuals. And that's, like I said, 2 boys from New Jersey selling whiskey at the trunk of their car to stores.
death.
And
Also-
5 years later,
Yeah. Mike's
Killing
going to be at Pours in the Park in August.
I hope.
Nobody's going to see this part because it's like 8 hours in, but Mike will be there. So if you want to come to
Oh
Pours
yeah,
in
how
the
long
Park,
have you been doing this?
An hour.
An hour? Yeah, that's about
give or
right.
take. Yeah.
You could probably trim it to like 45.
That's probably what'll happen after I take out a couple things.
No, for real. Mike will be at Pours in August, and it's confirmed, and it'll be awesome. But
Something will
come
happen.
hang out with
He
Mike.
won't. He won't.
Have
show
y'all
up.
figured
will.
out your sign off yet? Like how?
We haven't even named this.
Yeah, we
This is
should-
our completely unnamed
This is
segment
on-
content.
Well, you don't have
Fucking
to upload it
Fridays,
today. You can
yeah.
upload it today.
No, it has to be Friday.
Oh, it has
Yeah.
to be Friday. Fuck it, Fridays.
Yep.
Yeah.
See?
Algorithm will fucking
Oh
love
yeah, they'll,
it.
they'll appreciate
eat
it.
that up.
Yep. All right.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
This
Cheers.
is good.
See you guys later.
It's only 10 years old.
That's really good.
Only.
That's very